Is everybody really healthy for the national championship game? Seems so. Let's talk about what that means for the game, what that means for Ohio State and Notre Dame, and you tell me, does this change anything for you about what the outcome of Monday's game is going to be? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, or you're a returning viewer and you have not hit the subscribe button, I'm going to ask you to do that. Ring the bell if you don't want to miss any of the segments that we upload here as we talk college football year-round, all the time. We get into the weeds. I give some takes. Some people like the takes. Some people don't like the takes. I don't need you to agree with it. I need you to be cordial in the comments as it is roaring down there. I mean, I'm in there. Get in there. Let me know what you think. So everybody who could be healthy to play in the national championship game seems to be healthy enough to play. At the top of the list is Charles Jugasaw, who is the starting left tackle for this game against Ohio State, with Anthony Knap going down. Charles went out with a pec injury early in the year starting in camp, and Anthony Knap played 14 out of 15 games as a starter. Apparently, it's been some time to try to get him back into shape and get him in a place where it feels like he can go. And along the way, Anthony Knap kept playing well. I still think that if the dude was the better player, you want him on the field. I realize that if he ain't fully healthy, you can't get him there. But let's not act like Anthony Knap wasn't starting for reasons in the college football playoff that have to do with his ability to play. I don't believe in putting your best players on the bench and then coming up with the excuse that many fans did, not the coaching staff, that, hey, he was always the better player. We didn't lose nothing. Oh, okay, sure, dog. If that's the case, then there's a whole lot of us on the bench that are better than the people that are starting. And that just ain't the way that football or life really works. This is about talent. Do you have it? And if you have it, can you work it and can you play? Like the OJ say, can you come out and play? So you think you can play with the real men? That's what I want to see on Monday night. To that end, Denzel Burke says he's 100%, right? Whatever that upper body injury was that kept him out of the second half against Texas, it be gone now because he be practicing every day. JT Tuimoloau, who looked like he suffered a pretty bad ankle injury, he said, nah, it's more like a basketball roll injury, and I'm going to play, right, on Monday against Notre Dame. Austin Severville, also, he's okay on that offensive line. So everybody that could be healthy is healthy, right? I also think that Beaux might actually make a dent in this game. He only played 7 snaps in the Orange Bowl, but it's been slow getting him back. But he says, look, I started to feel much better later in the week, and I expect to be 100% when the game kicks on Saturday night. So kind of like Jalen Waddle coming back for Alabama in 2020 is what this could be like. But at that time, Devontae Smith is the Heisman Trophy winner and the best wide receiver in the country, even though I think Jalen Waddle was perhaps the more talented guy, right? Now, that ankle injury was that ankle injury, but anybody that saw Jalen Waddle in 2020 knows exactly what I'm talking about. That man was a bona fide problem. And Devontae Smith got to feature because Jalen Waddle was a bona fide problem. I don't know that Notre Dame got a bona fide problem at wide receiver, but maybe Beaux Collins, Jaden Greathouse, Jordan Faison can show us a little something, get a little good in there, slide in there, go see what you can do against the secondary, because one of the things that I think is interesting about this is the pitch battle that is who is the weakest link at Ohio State, right? For many, it is Denzel Burke. Yeah, I've been there. Sonny Styles, I've been there too. There's this argument, though, that the wide receivers at Ohio State play against the best secondary in the country, which, you know, I'm inclined to believe, right? Caleb Downs is back there, and he's a friggin' pterodactyl. He be everywhere all the time. Lathan Ransom getting a lot of pub and a lot of play from a lot of folks because of what he's been able to do as a tackler. Like, that's a box safety, right? I think in comparison to Cam Chancellor being a little bit smaller is better, whereas like Caleb Downs is more that Earl Thomas where he can be everywhere doing all the things. More like Ed Reed, honestly, with Caleb Downs, if we're being honest about this. And then you got the John Lynch, the Cam Chancellor. I even heard some Bob Sanders stuff, but like, I don't know, man. Bob Sanders is 5'8" and a missile. Ain't nobody 5'8" playing the secondary at Ohio State. It's just not happening, right? That's just not how it's going to be. I love Bob Sanders' depth because he a short king, holding it down for the short kings. And as a short king, I be on it with the short king, but let's not give nobody short king status if they earn short king status, because everybody want to be short and Brody, but not everybody is short and Brody. Man, I'm so excited. Did I tell y'all I started boxing again? Like, I'm so excited. I'm in here with children half my age, and apparently I am the most technically sound dude because I'm over here. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you. Bang. It's such a good time. It's been so long since I fought. My hands hurt, but you know what? That's that late onset arthritis. But I plan to be getting back in there and make it do what it do. I think we're going to have one hell of a football game. I really do. I think that it might get out of hand for Notre Dame if they can't put a lid on their secondary early and often. Xavier Watts can't make some things happen, right? Christian Gray can't make some things happen. If you can force Ohio State into the kind of football game that they played last September, you're in a good spot, right? That was a goal line opportunity that you had a chance to hold up on. Felt like Ryan Day was going to screw that up. Marcus Freeman ended up screwing that up. Who's going to make a play? Marcus Freeman has made a play in this college football playoff so far, right? That punt, that wasn't a punt. That was a fake. That was a delayed snap. They got the false start penalty against Georgia. That's the kind of stuff I think you're going to have to be able to do, but also they're able to do that stuff with a lead. I don't know how often you expect to have a lead against Ohio State because a lot of people don't expect to have leads, but that ain't just the way it goes. And I'm not sure that Ohio State is going to want to let off the gas for reasons that have to do with this is how great explosive teams lose football games. You start running the football late in the third or in the fourth, and it feels like you're letting people find their way back into the game. This would happen, I think, with Penn State. They get it felt like that game should have been won by Penn State if only Drew Aller could be just a little bit better. That's it, man. His quarterback that's holding him back. Riley Leonard made some bad plays in that game, made some winning plays in that game. Drew Aller didn't make any winning plays in that game. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Abdul Carter, Dennis Denai Smith, those guys made plays. The thing for Ohio State against Notre Dame is they can afford to make more mistakes than Notre Dame can and still win the football game because they have so many different ways that they can beat you. They have so many different ways in which they can make up for things. For instance, my favorite example of this is it's supposed to be 7-7 going into halftime at the Cotton Bowl against Texas. But they got Travion Henderson, who takes a dump screen pass 75 yards to the house because he's got that kind of talent. And they got that kind of talent all over the field. Again, I'm focusing on that wide receiver group for Notre Dame that would have to step up in a way that Riley Leonard have to step up as a passer, frankly. But more than anything else, what is Jack Sawyer going to do against Charles Jagasaw? Like that's going to be the matchup for me. I think that offensive line is getting a lot of play. Notre Dame's offensive line. There have been coaches that said, hey, it's the best offensive line in football for us. We think that as a unit, they play better football than anybody else. Well, now that unit is not the same, right? There's no Rocco Spindler over there either. It's going to be tough because that defensive line for Ohio State has found its niche in the second half of the season. They've been playing lights out. 4 sacks, at least 4 sacks in every game that they have played in the college football playoff. And if Riley Leonard is not careful, he's going to end up on the ground because, frankly, that dude sucks against pressure. So pressure him, get after him, let Cody Simon and Caleb Downs do the cleanup, right, on aisle 5 when it comes to that. And then we'll see. But I want to get out here and talk about the injuries and the updates to those injuries and what we could expect from those players, which is everybody's full go. Nobody that – I think there are people that are legitimately injured right now who would love nothing more than to be on that football field if only they were allowed to, but they're not allowed to. That's where we're at in the season. It is my favorite game every year because I know that everybody is playing all out all the time. That's one of the reasons I love the college football playoff. We get this tournament where it's win or go home. And I love win or go home. There is no resting starters in the second half. There is no, hey, this dude would have had better stats if he played more. There is no, we got to get to the bowl game. There is no, we got to get to the end of the regular season. It's all right here. It's all out in front of you. You are in the palace at Ithaca. The suitors are among you. Can you string the great bow? Can you draw it back? Can you shoot it through the axis? And then can you handle your business and go get your woman back? Let's find out who got it. Notre Dame or Ohio State.